What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, and I'm back with another video, man. And you already know what I need you to do. Hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit the notification bell, because it does go a long way with helping out the channel. If this is your first time, I already know why you're here. You're tired of releasing on your keyboards, your laptops, and your desktops, and you're tired of being manipulated and dominated by female culture. You are in the right place. Guys, hit the join button. I'm dropping exclusive content on everything about relationships, broken marriages, just any and everything related to you and the opposite sex. I'm going to be breaking down the schemes, the plans, the plots, and how you can navigate through that. So if you're interested in that type of content, man, hit the join button, support the channel. Let's get into this video. Gluttony. Gluttony. What is gluttony? Gluttony is an overindulgence in eating. Some of the terms used for gluttony is greed, greediness, overeating, overconsumption, binge eating, gluttonous, hoggishness, piggishness. This is a spirit that flies under the radar. It's the spirit behind spirits. It causes you to never be satisfied. You can never reach enough because gluttony is urging you and urging you and urging you to consume so much till you implode, until you actually blow up inside yourself. Gluttony is one of the 7 deadly sins. And you can see how gluttony is so dangerous because it bleeds into every area and every aspect of your life. This ties in well with semen retention, because semen retention is about, one, honoring God and being sexually responsible and not allowing yourself to become unclean by demonic sexual practices like masturbation, watching porn, one-night stands, just being reckless with your seed. Gluttony is behind this. It forces you to abandon discipline. Discipline you need to go from point A to point B to point C, so forth and so on. Gluttony is one of those sins, one of those spirits that is very, very subtle. You don't know it until all the damage is done. You know, you see people all the time trying to go on a diet. They lose weight. They get in great shape. And then slowly but surely, they get back to the weight they were before and even bigger, more out of shape. Because gluttony allows you to have a little bit here, a little bit there, right? When you feast, you have to have more than what your body can actually take in. Gluttony. The overindulgence. This bleeds into your sexuality. You watch 4, 5, 6 hours of porn. You jack off 7, 8 times a day. You can't get enough. You can't work. You can't grind. You can't do anything because you're overindulging in sexual activity. And then you wonder why you're not where you want to be. You're not tracking towards your ideal destination. It's the spirit of gluttony. I remember, man, when I was back in my day doing my thing, I would have sex with a girl and find myself 10 minutes after masturbating. Why is this? What's the reason for the overindulgence in sexual activity? What's the reason for this? It's to get you so consumed so that you keep that gravy train going for the devil and his demons. keeps you in a state of dependency. Gluttony causes you to be, at some point, become addicted to whatever it is you are over consuming. This is why I tell you guys, it's very important to fast. Fasting is going to beat your flesh into subjection. This is one of the reasons why you're hesitant to fast. Most people are hesitant to fast because it is not pleasing to the flesh. Your flesh will go through a period of purging and suffering while you're beating it down into subjection, and it's fighting you back. It's fighting you when you're on this fast. It's fighting you. It's giving you intense urges of hunger to be like, yo, listen, I need X, Y, and Z. Because you trained your body to overconsume. So that's why when you offer up a fast to God, it's a sacrifice. And if done the right way, God will honor it. Jesus said some of these spirits don't come out except through prayer and fasting. You have to beat that flesh. You have to weaken your flesh so that your spirit can be elevated, so that your spirit can be strengthened. You can't just have one cheeseburger. You got to have 3. You can't just have 1 scoop of ice cream. You got to have 4 scoops of ice cream. Right? And when you train your body to overindulge in everything else, when you satisfy your flesh to the point to where it's trained to overconsume, to take in excess, to take in more than what is needed, what happens when it comes to sexuality? What happens when your flesh is raging and you get these urges, you get these impulses, you get these thoughts to go do these particular sexual acts, to masturbate, to watch porn? Your flesh is already on 10 thou wow. Your spirit is low because your spirit, you got to understand something. The spirit is supposed to control the body. The mind is supposed to control the body. But when the body is being fed consistently, it's being fed, your flesh will be more powerful than your spirit, and your flesh will overcome your spirit. The Bible says that the spirit wars against the flesh and the flesh wars against the spirit. They strive with one another. So depending on which one you feed the most, that is going to be the one that's going to dominate. Either your flesh is going to dominate or your spirit is going to dominate. An easy, subtle way that the devil gets us is by making light of overeating, by making light of drinking, by making light of these little things that we don't think is a big deal. And it's not realizing that it's powering up our flesh. So when we do get into that situation where that temptation presents itself, it's very difficult to overcome because we've been feeding the flesh unknowingly. We've been overeating. We've been overeating. Overeating is one of the things that is going to really make it difficult for you to be able to fast. You're consuming. So this is why the devil wants you to eat so much. He wants you to eat so much so you can make your body an enemy against you. When it comes to spiritual things, your body becomes an enemy to you because the cravings are so intense that you can't go on a fast. Fasting is the gateway to breakthrough. It's the gateway to break through. Man, if you're getting value out of this video, hit the like button for your boy. Let's spread this message around the world. I see people getting 1 million views, man, for content that is just ratchet. Content that's going to send people straight to hell. content that are going to break up marriages, that is going to break up families. It's time to spread the truth of the gospel around the world. It's time for men to get back to spirituality, get back to God, get back to biblical principles, biblical manhood. Don't allow the constructs, the ideals, the ideologies of the world to shape and form your mind. Gluttony. This whole society is about overconsumption. Every time you turn on the television, it is an ad for some type of fast food. Everything is about over-consuming, overdoing it. This is why America is in so much debt. It is a consumer-based country. We consume. That's what we do. We consume. Our flesh just wants more and more and more. It can never get enough. It is never satisfied. And if you don't beat your flesh into subjection, you're not going to ever be able to have any type of breakthrough. It's just not going to be possible for you. You're not going to have breakthrough if you don't train yourself, if you don't have the mental fortitude to discipline yourself. Gluttony will overtake you. I want you guys to start paying attention to how much you're drinking. I want you to start paying attention to how much you're eating. I want you to start paying attention to how long you play video games. I want you guys to start thinking about what are things in your life that you're overindulging because you're getting a dopamine hit and it's making you feel good in the moment, but your life is passing you by. And when you need breakthrough, it's key. When you need breakthrough, it's very difficult because the thing that you need for breakthrough is prayer and fasting. God, a lot of you guys can't stop beating your meat. You can't stop watching porn. You keep coming back to God over and over and over, asking for forgiveness for the same sin. That's because you haven't figured out how to break through. Gluttony is behind it. You're overindulging in everything else, but these things that you're overindulging in, they're not like bad things in and of themselves. Like you can play video games. Like you can eat pizza, right? You can enjoy food, right? But it's the extra. It's the going over and above and beyond what is needed. And when you consistently do that, when it comes time to where you're now faced with a real temptation, a sexual temptation, your chances of survival are slim. Pay attention to what you're overindulging in. Paul says that all things are permissible, but he's not going to let anything rule over him. He's not going to let things rule over him. Well, he's going to be bound by it. You have to have subjection over your flesh, over your body. How do you do that? By being in the spirit, by understanding spiritual things, by renewing your mind on a daily basis. You guys have to get a consistent prayer life. I don't know where I would be without a consistent prayer life. I can't even imagine life now without a consistent prayer life. I don't even know how I made it so far without one. Well, I do know how I made it. It was God's grace on my life. That was it. Without that grace, I would have been finished. My enemies would have consumed me a long time ago. But guys, gluttony, man. I really want you to zero in on that. I really want you to focus on What are you being hoggish about, piggish about? What insatiable appetites do you have in different areas of your life that is secretly holding you back? You got to understand something. When that woman presents, when the temptation is presented through that woman, whether it's a bad relationship, whether it's a, you're going to knock this girl off that you met here or there, whatever the case may be, man. The fact that you haven't been able to hold back on food, the fact that you haven't been able to hold back on video games, the fact that you haven't been able to do the things that you've written down as goals. You haven't been able to press towards those goals because your flesh is dominating you. When you get into these real temptations, when Satan presents you with these real temptations that are going to come in order to defile you, and that defilement is what's going to create that wedge between you and God. It's going to push you further away from God. It's going to make you feel shameful and guilty to where you don't even want to come to God. The Bible says that they didn't like the light because their deeds were evil. When your deeds are evil, you run away from the light. When your deeds are evil, you run away from the life. You notice when people do you wrong, they don't want to be around you. They know they did you dirty. They know they did you wrong. So they try to avoid you. They don't want to be around you because the thought of you condemns them. The thought of you exposes them. The thought of you makes them feel shameful and convicted about what they did to you. They don't want to be around you because not being around you allows them to forget. Same thing with God. They didn't like the light because their deeds were evil. Gluttony. I want you guys to focus and pay attention to gluttony. Do not allow gluttony to ruin your life, to suck you dry. This is Hold My Nuts Podcast, man. I hope you got value out of this video, man. I'm going to holler at you guys in the next one. Peace.